Why is it that women go against all of that? Because there are women who still get in relationships knowing that they want something, but still.
He's done miracles on me. Back again, he's done. Back again, he's done miracles. Back again, he's done miracles on me.
Alright, welcome for the Love of Men. My name is King Stanford. I have Song to my right, and I have Dr. Sam to my left. Today we are going to be coming out of Ace Metaphors, tonight's conversations, and the great thing about it is we're going to talk about some relationship discussions. And I could say that both of these ladies have definitely been in some relationships and have some things in... has definitely had
This trick
had
is not gonna make it the whole time.
This has definitely been something that they could speak on, because some things that you should talk about should definitely be something that you've been through. Sometimes people talk about something that they have no experience in, and that's not going to definitely be fruitful to the audience of somebody who actually has. But before we get started,
He picked like almost the entire deck.
I did, because I was like, ooh. But then it was some ones I seen. I said, ooh, no. Ooh, no. This one should have been in that other nasty deck. Like, so I had moved it over there. Some of those ones was like 2 to the left. And you know.
We still Christian, baby.
We still trying to make sure everything.
I should have poured liquor in my cup.
You sure it ain't?
I'm positive. Just
what's that one that Kahlua. You got
do you have some? Because I might.
all right, man. Hold on. Let me turn this backwards, because they ain't giving us no sponsorship. So I'm going to just turn that backwards. But yeah, I am going to give a shout out to Ace Metaphor for this great deck. I definitely enjoy all the ones that we have definitely read. So before we get started today, and I start randomly just flipping them over and asking these questions, is anything that y'all want to put in today before you get started? Say a prayer or something before, I go in on y'all, because I'm going to get down.
Nah, I mean, like, I know people say, like, the guys are the ones always talking, but, like, For the Love of Men is about getting guys' perspectives.
Right.
So that's why we don't do, like, a whole lot of putting our input in. So this is going to be different here in our opinions on stuff. But feel free to add, your opinion.
Oh, you definitely know I'm going to say some stuff today and give my input. But I'm going to try to make the focus, because it is a flip, and oftentimes I still wanted to make sure the focus is still on something that can connect with the ladies. Of course, a lot of times they watch the video and may not connect with us, but be like, oh, they give it to their man. But we do want to speak when we are speaking to the women. So definitely, ladies, today is y'all day. Nothing else y'all want to say? All right, forever hold your peace.
I mean, we'll just get there when we get there.
All right.
Can we pass on the question?
No, you cannot. There is no
I plead
pass.
the fifth.
There's no path. There's no lifeline. We are not playing none of those games, calling a friend. We're not doing none of that. So, well, all right. So the first one, have you ever ghosted someone or been ghosted by someone after sex? We just going to get right into it.
Right, I was going way in.
Escalated quickly.
Yeah, he wasn't going to move in. So we just going to get right into the questions. So,
I'm trying to think. I have.
You have ghosted?
I have ghosted.
she ghosted.
I
Elaborate. So you want to elaborate?
let me.
Need some more Kahlua?
No, that's just coffee.
I know I'm messing. It's coffee, y'all. I'm playing.
And pineapple juice and water.
And water, yeah.
It was just. We didn't even get.
You don't
there.
have to go in like into
No,
the detail.
I'm just gonna say we
but
didn't.
why did you ghost on this person?
It was atrociously terrible.
Okay.
And it just wasn't even worth the conversation. Like, it was just.
So you just was like the sponge by, all right, I'm out, yo. Like
I
he like,
we didn't. Yeah, like I got dressed during and left because that's.
bruh,
Dang.
yo, I ain't trying to get too vulgar, but you just, I'm just gonna let it slide and fly.
Let that one go.
I'm gonna let that one go, but.
I was like, nah, no, thank you. I changed my mind and I just.
But you know, that is one of the questions that I saw in there. They had so many of those like questions about people and how do you stay in a relationship with something that's so bad or atrocious or whatever, you know.
I didn't.
Yeah, like
She
you.
said I didn't.
But that's my question, ladies. Like, when is that a deal breaker in your
Yep.
relationship?
Yes.
It is.
Just right to the point.
I lost the back to my earring because my earring was like, I can't do it either. So
Look,
we just coming
look,
off.
I'm out. Look,
See,
it just was so bad.
I mean, I politely left.
How do you politely leave?
I was like, thanks. And then I just.
Thanks for
I gave a
the
hug. Yeah, I gave like a church hug. I was like,
Oh Lord.
and then I went home, and then I just didn't answer the phone after that. I was like, we're good. But I said we're good before we, like, I was like, I'm good. Like,
You know, when
this
black
isn't
people
good
say
no more.
we're good, that don't necessarily mean we're good.
Yeah, that was a meme that
Well,
was out
hopefully
there
he
before.
understood that because I said we're good. And
We good really mean we not good.
not good.
But he got to understand the in betweens of that.
we have our own language. Hopefully you understood that. And then I just didn't. That's all I had. We're good.
I have nothing left to
I have
give.
nothing left to
Yeah,
give.
nothing left to give. Okay.
So I had two different. One, we didn't sleep together because I met him online, and then when I saw him in person, he did not look like what it was online, and I was like.
Catfish. Got
I was
catfish.
like, I can't even try. I'm not gonna make myself do it. But thank you for the flowers. It's really nice of you.
These flowers are great.
The flowers are great. And then I just never saw him again. Never responded. Nothing. Yeah. And then the other one, like, it wasn't even that it was bad. It was just he was an idiot. So I was like, I just can't.
Yeah, there's a level of intellectual functioning that you need to
Right.
even if you fake it.
Because then I'm sitting there thinking, you're so stupid. I can't focus on anything else.
Right.
So be smart.
So, at least have a high school diploma.
Nah, you need more than that.
Listen, because
Common sense.
Can I?
Let's
Even though I
do
threw
it.
it out there are some billionaires who don't have high school diplomas, but they are very intelligent in their aspect of searching out knowledge.
Well, correct.
Right.
They seek knowledge and they have common sense because
Yeah.
I feel like you can't build $1 billion business without some sense,
Some intellectual.
right? Or some
Yeah.
emotional something like,
Yeah.
but just out here dumb.
right.
That ain't it.
So I need more than be able to smoke weed and bust your cheeks in.
So I was telling my brother earlier about this guy. Like years and years ago, we were together, and then we were sitting watching the show. And this is when I knew I couldn't date people who smoke weed. And he smoked a lot of weed, and we were watching Girlfriends. And Joan was in her office, and William came in behind her, and she was like, "Oh, you startled me." And he was like, "Startled? That's stupid. What is that?" And I was like, "He don't know what startled is." Like, I can't. This is done. That one ended too. But we were actually in a relationship, and then I was just like, "How you go somebody out of a relationship?" I just stopped calling and disappeared out the whole state.
See, I ain't never done that, but I can get it. But
I can't.
We know
that
you
whole
have.
weed smoking thing, never
No.
been there, tried it, never again. No, thank you.
Nope.
Oh.
I think smokers need to date smokers. That's the only way it works.
Probably, yeah. 'cause
No
there's
disrespect to anyone that engages, just not a preference.
Right. People are allowed to have their preferences.
They definitely are. Well, let's see what question number 2, because it got real serious.
You the one didn't put the questions in order of
Right.
let's ease into
You
it.
started it with
I did that on purpose because I wanted to just bam right into it and ask the conversation, let it be casual.
Women don't
let it
like
be-
that.
right. That's
It's,
I feel like
it
you-
works for me.
that's it.
It does.
Okay. Continue.
Okay. Just
I said okay.
okay. Well, next question. All right. So, if a person who checks all of your boxes tells you early on that they don't want children, but you do you keep dating them and explain?
No. It's a non-negotiable for me.
Explain why.
Because I want kids. That's it. That's as simple as it is. I want kids, so you don't want any more, then we just...
You don't have kids. Do you really know what it's like to have kids?
That's not the point. The point is, I want a little me to terrorize this world, okay? So, being said, if you don't want kids, goodbye.
And let me come to the defense of Auntie Dr. Sam over here. She watch all the kids. And she still want kids, so I don't even know what's going on with her. But one day she will be blessed with it. You.
Listen, I'm good because I already got 3. I don't want any more. So
that's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair. So pretty cut and dry, right?
Yep.
But now, I say this because why is it that women go against all of that? Because there are women who still get in relationships knowing that they want something, but still, you know what I'm saying, yet and still in the back of their mind, they know that they may want children or may not want children, but going in, because you got to remember, he checks all the boxes, every single box. Because I know some that don't check boxes and they still make it through the threshold.
They make the compromises.
So compromising, that's what it is?
No, it's not. It's settling and lowering yourself because you feel, one, there's a misconception that I thankfully have grown out of that you can change people or help people, or if you see potential in someone else, that just because of your presence and what you have, you can help them get that potential. That's a negative. You cannot. And the other fact is, if you feel insecure within yourself and you feel like you can't find better, you won't get better, then you'll sit here and try to make a situation work even though it's not necessarily what you want, and you'll try to convince yourself that it is what you want so that you can feel satisfied, I guess.
And then I also think that sometimes women feel like they're running out of time, like their biological clock is ticking, even if, you know, oh, well, he may not want kids, but like I'm running out of time to lock down a man, have the family and the blueprint that I thought that I was supposed to have for my life. So let me just stay in this because at least I can say that I have somebody. I'm not alone. And it gets me closer to whatever my end goal is supposed to be. So,
Got you. Because, yeah, that was one of the things I was thinking. I was like, yeah, he checks all the boxes. And I was like, sometimes I've watched women where it was like men who did not check all the boxes. But what I feel, just from what I've witnessed from the nurturing standpoint of a woman, is usually, even if it's not right, they're going to always be there. I realize, for me, I honestly feel women are more apt to forgive and get past situations if it's cheating or not. I don't want to jump into that, but I know it's a card in there. But basically more than men are. Because a lot of times it is. It's like, yo, you there, you nurture, you bring up, it's just in you automatically. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I definitely say that nurturing spirit. So how long after you have...
Why you look at me?
How long after you've been dating can you say a relationship is official? Now I looked at both of y'all. Like, what's the time frame?
I don't think that there is like a set time that you can put on that. It's when you both communicate this. So this is the thing that women do. And I don't know if men
appreciate
do this,
you saying it.
But I say women because
I do too. But go ahead.
Because in our own minds, we didn't set up. We in a relationship now, and so we are officially a relationship status. But we didn't communicate this. We didn't have no conversation about this, and so then we start putting expectations of relationship on the man when he never agreed that he was down for the relationship. Right. And so I don't think that you can say, okay, well, we've been dating for however many X amount of months in your mind that you think is enough time for you to say that this is an official relationship. You can't put that pressure on him if you did not tell him what your expectation was. Like, I'm going to date you for 3 months, and then we need to be official or it's over. If
That's
that's
in 9 days.
right, she said 9. Maybe 90. Like you can't put that expectation on if you didn't have this conversation in the beginning. Like, this is how long I'm willing to wait. And actually, Ace metaphor, it was something that I just shared on our page, where he was talking about the difference between dating and waiting. And some women, like, you say you're dating because you're doing all this dating relationship stuff, but he has not said that he wants to settle down and commit. And so you're just waiting around, waiting for him to make that decision. You need to set whatever your standard is from the beginning.
Correct.
And then communicate those things. And if you're unhappy with it and you're uncomfortable with the rate that it's moving, then you move on. Like, what are you waiting for? And it goes back to where we were talking about giving people ultimatums and stuff. Like, why are you giving this man ultimatums? If you're not happy, just leave. Like, if you've communicated it, and he ain't changed, and you're not happy with where the status of the relationship, non-relationship, situationship, whatever it is, where it's at, then you just need to move on.
Well, and to play devil's advocate, right, it's so much easier to say just move on. 99.9% of the time, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chances before people actually
Be like, okay, I'm done.
I'm done,
This
right? And a lot of that goes back to what you said, right? That nurturing of, like, I have so much love to give, like, I can make it happen. Or if there's enough time, then you'll see I'm a good person. A lot of it's, like, again, self-esteem, proving self-worth, which is unnecessary, like, right? If it's
Either they see it or they don't.
either they see it or they don't, right? And if that, and it definitely needs to be a conversation. I've known people that dated for 2 months, got engaged at 6 months, and then been married for the last 20 years, and people that dated for 10 years, never got married, and then split up, right? So I think it's a conversation between the individuals who are in a relationship, but it's also a constant conversation, not just today I feel like.
And also to add to that, because there are some people who they stay in this relationship for years, and then when it ends, they go find the other person goes and finds someone new
And then gets married.
and gets married. And you're like, I waited all this time. I gave you all this time, baby. You was just like a placeholder because they never really wanted to marry you, but you were convenient.
Or, on the flip, like Cassie and Diddy, right? She finally left Diddy, and within a year, married 2 kids now, like, the love of her life, as soon as she dropped the dead weight.
Right.
That's a pretty wealthy dead weight right there. But no, that's strong, because most people would have stayed just for the sheer financial, situation. So no, that's good. I mean, people gotta always remember that, like, first and foremost, regardless of putting the titles and stuff on your relationship, it comes down to connection. Like, do you really connect with this person? Because we can say, like, let's put a time frame on it, whatever, whatnot. But if that person is healthy and y'all have had discussions of moving forward, but however, I've seen people have discussions about moving forward, but that's still not in their mind. They're just telling the person what they want to hear.
Right, to keep them hooked.
Yeah, and where this comes down to me, what I really believe, it's 2 individual journeys merging together. So you got to make sure you're healthy enough that you're not attracting, that dead weight, because it won't even come in the midst of where you're at. Because, like, we always talk about those things that we go through and those traumas. And I even mentioned about myself after coming out of a long relationship. I found somebody who looked bad and she looked fine and all of that, but she was the same exact person because it was what was still inside of me. So, like, yeah, I definitely understand those situations of attracting the wrong thing. So definitely growing with inside of yourself and continue to elevate. Get your therapy if you had any trauma, any issues, which most people do by this time in our age. Make sure you don't went through some stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't went through some stuff. So you got to make sure you heal that so you don't bring that. Even if you attracted a good person, you could run a good person off by not healing from those past traumas. Because you're trying to keep that person still stuck in your past when this is a future situation. And sometimes in relationships, I found, like, we got to self-talk to ourselves to make sure to remind ourselves we're not in the same situation we used to be in. That's something I learned about, with those old attachments or abandonment issues and stuff. So that's good. Anything else? Let's see. Question number 3.
This is
I think it's 4.
Is it 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 3rd one done. This is the 4th. I'm glad y'all paying attention. I was just checking. When dating, do you prefer a person with children or without children?
You can go first.
So for me,
A long exhale.
for me, before I had kids, I did not want to date anybody who had kids because I was like, I don't want to deal with your baby mama drama, da 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 da, whatever. After having kids, I don't know if I would say like I lowered the bar and be like, okay, well you can have kids too, but like I had a different mindset perspective on it. Like, if you have a good relationship with your children or your children's mother and like you guys co-parent well together, then there's not going to be any drama necessarily coming to our front door. So as long as you have a handle on your stuff, because I had a handle on my stuff and it won't interfere with our relationship, and I see that you're a good father, then I don't have a problem with you having kids. And then for me also, like I've tried dating people who did not have kids or men who did not have kids, and they didn't understand that my kids are my priority. Like even though they said, well, yeah, I understand your kids are important, but then they really didn't, because they wanted to suck up all my time, and then they were like jealous, like no, I got to do stuff for my kids, and so they're going to come first. Especially while we're in this dating zone, like they first, I just met you. So, so sometimes dating somebody who already has kids, they understand that, and it makes it easier for us to like connect. So
Just throw them all in the pile.
yeah, we just be like, it's all of them up in here, and mix it all together.
And I'll come back to you, but for those who speaking, because I don't want to skip over, because I know that you can speak on this, how do you blend the children? Because you got some children who may be the baby, and now you're a young child, so they're no longer the baby, and that kind of plays a factor. So how do you blend the family in there? And when I mean blend the family, that includes, like, because I know that you can speak to this, bringing in the other mother as well of the person you's dating's baby mother, I should say, or ex.
I'm not gonna lie, y'all. It is it is not the easiest thing in the world, because sometimes you may get some kids that just, not even to say that they don't like you, but they're very territorial about their parents being together or not being together anymore, and then it looks like you're coming in from the outside and you're messing up what they're trying to bring back together. Even like with my oldest son, when his dad remarried, he didn't want to like her because he was like, no, because then you and my dad are never going to get back together. Baby, me and your daddy was never getting back together. I just want you to understand that. Hi, son. I know you're watching. But, so you may have those things that come into play, like just dealing with that and trying not to put your emotions into it. Understanding like these kids, they have emotions. They've dealt with their own trauma of their parents not being together or whatever they saw in the relationship that was happening. So don't get offended by those things. Also communicate with your significant other the way that you feel about stuff, and then make sure that you're making time for those other kids so that they don't feel like they're excluded from your children, but also make sure you're making time for your kids so your kids don't feel like, oh, you done got these new kids and you done forgot about me. Because so you want to make sure that you're making sure everybody feels included. And then as far as like with the other mothers, something that I did that kind of worked for me is I reached out to them. I talked to them and let them know I'm not here to try to take your place. I'm here to come alongside and help you with being there as another support to your child. And through those communications, we learn how to grow together and have a good relationship with each other. I ain't saying that worked for everybody, but it is an option to do. Like sometimes you just have to learn how to be the bigger person and put your stuff aside and remember that it's about the kids. It ain't about you all the time. So, but that's if you choose to date.
Yes.
Dr. Sam, what's your take on this? You want me to read it again?
Sure.
All right. It says, when dating, do you prefer a person with children or without children? You must explain. Why? Being somebody who's probably,
Okay, so when I was younger, no. And then as I got older, I was like, everybody has kids. I was like, everybody got them. So I like lessened up on that a little bit. I'm trying not to say too much, but after my last relationship, moving forward, it might be a needle in a haystack, but I have no intention of trying to date someone that already has children. For me personally, I've dated 3 people that have already had kids. And the attachment that because I can't speak for every woman or every single person, but for myself, the attachment that I build with your child is when I walk away from a relationship, I'm also leaving that child. And that is, for me, actually probably more heartbreaking than the person I left. But because when I'm in it, right, if the intention is we're dating and the end goal is to be married and have a family and build, then this is my child. Like, it's your child, but it's my child, right? And I'm never going to treat your child any differently than I would if it was my own. And so that nurturing, like, I'm putting my all at 100% into this child as well as to you, and to then build this attachment and then have to just break from it. Like, it feels like a part of my heart is outside in this world and I don't know what's happening, if they're okay, if they're safe, and there's nothing I can do about it. It just is. And then, all the other stuff, if the relationship with the mother of their child is not the greatest, or there's some things that affect the household, like, there has to be a person that's mature enough or willing enough to have that conversation to kind of correct it so that both households can coexist peacefully. And it's for the kids, not each person or each whatever. And so I think at this point I'm just kind of like, no, thank you, respectfully.
No, that's good though, man, because oftentimes, what's the flip side of that? You get a woman who don't care about your children. You know what I'm saying? So you should always have a woman on both sides of these ends who definitely care for your children, because you should be able to see that, if not right away, but over the course of time, the way do they feed your children? Are they willing to take them? Are they taking care of them? Are they helping them with homework? Like, just the little things, man, y'all got to pay attention to with the women that do that. And I agree with y'all 100%, because what happens on your end, that attachment you had to the child is broken, and then that child now has that part of them missing in life. And because it's not your child, then at this point, that child has no way to connect back with you, because that other parent who you was just with literally could keep them away from you, and you have no legal right. And then you start getting children who become so guarded and not want to connect with a person because this person keeps leaving out their life and creating that abandonment issue with inside of them. So it's important that we make sure we're picking the right people. And even when we get married, I've learned over the course of time, with getting outside of myself and looking at the children don't see you like we do as two individuals. They see you as one person. So when that one person gets ripped apart, which is that relationship, they're torn between two. So all they want to do, like your son was saying, want to put back that thing together, even though, it's our decisions.
And I want to add to, like, again, speaking for myself, but I feel like people can kind of resonate. I know I stayed longer in a situation that wasn't for me, that wasn't healthy, that I didn't want to be in, because I didn't want to leave that child.
Right.
And that was like a hard reality. I had to sit with myself and say, okay, what am I then teaching this child? Right? What am I teaching this child that is acceptable for relationships, for a family, for a household, what it's supposed to look like? And it's not. And if it was my kid, would I have left sooner? And the answer was yes. And so I had to sit there and say, as much as it had killed me to walk away, because this is why, but that was the only thing that was keeping me, and that's not a sufficient enough answer or reason.
I saw this quote, and it said, it really resonated with me because it was like my situation at the time, but it was like, I stayed in my relationship thinking I was teaching my kids about loyalty and love and, how to stay committed to somebody, but really I was teaching them, like, abuse is okay. and like to let people treat you however. And so a lot of times we don't think about that. Like they're watching everything that we're doing. What are we teaching them that is okay for them to grow up and believe?
Right.
So you just have to be mindful with that, whether it's your kids or not. They're always looking at the influences that we're sharing with them.
We're the role models.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that
That's
is.
little Essence who goes around and repeats everything everybody says and does.
Dang.
Hey yo,
Ew.
I was like, you is not from New York. You from?
Her TT is though.
She said, TT, say I'm coming. Hey yo. Yes, she's coming.
Man, and that's the thing, man. That's great about it, man. We joke about all of that stuff, but it is a community, man. And that's one thing that people got to remember when you're in relationships with these significant others, is reminding them, as a song said, that I'm here to let you know I'm part of the community and I'm here to support your child. And at the end of the day, everybody, if they can get out of their personal feelings and that other person you're with is not still having sex with their ex, then it could be easier to move forward, I believe, because I've seen it happen currently, you know. So definitely that's something that y'all have to think about, and that is remembering that what's best for your children, for your legacy, and for your future.
Make sure you subscribe and come back next week for the continuation of this conversation.
Reasonable.
No! I'm trying not to spit my drink out. Wait a minute.
I was laughing because I threw that curveball, because we just talked about this, folks, and they was good with it if they wasn't working. And then, so they was starting to drink like, let me get ready to answer this. Wait a minute.